I am live, so this is the buttons on the things. So I was supposed to do this Sunday night. Instead, I'm doing it Tuesday morning ish, mid morning, 10 o'clock. So Davey is currently coughing up a lung. I'm sure he's fine. Right. So let's just get into it because I mean, there's nothing else that we can do or not do. This is what we're talking about. I'm gonna put these up here since I don't have anyone to talk to. That being said, so the whole idea of this subject is not to shit on how you escape daily life. It's not to shit on anybody's how they escape daily life. It is some warning signs that that daily escape might be something more than it should be. So, escapism. What's escapism? Escapism is doing something that is not part of your normal, mundane, everyday, simple life. It's playing a video game. It's watching a movie. It's building with Lego. It's doing action figure design. It's anything that's not pertaining to your everyday being paying bills, go to the doctor, go to your job, stuff like that. Okay, so escapism was huge for me a long time ago. Uh, you all right? Like I said, escapism was huge for me a long time ago. Used to play a lot of MMOs, so I was unemployed. I was just recently divorced. Wake up, start a video game. 10 o'clock at night rolls around, stop playing a video game, maybe get something to eat, play until 3 in the morning. Rinse and repeat. That was my everyday life. I wasn't focusing on the fact that my mental health was deteriorating. I wasn't mourning the fact that I was now divorced. I was mourning the fact that I had nothing as far as money or monetary gain went. I social life was shit because people decided that if I'm asking for a divorce, I'm a horrible human. So that, you know, that escalated quickly. That escapism became my life. Um, if you've ever played an MMO for an extended period of time, you know that it stops becoming fun and starts becoming a job. And so, for me, a guy with no ties, no responsibilities, nothing like that, that was fine. Yeah. A smarter man would have turned it into a side hustle and he would have started making money off of what he was doing in game by selling characters. I did that a couple of times, but not enough to be sufficient with everything. So escapism is very rewarding at first because you're like, yeah, all right, your endorphins are going the way that they should be going. You're getting that reward, that dopamine level is rising because you're happy about it. And then it starts to become stale because that escapism is no longer an escapism. It's just your life. Um, it's just how it is. It's why you don't see somebody that is a professional game programmer. They're not doing that when they get off work. They're not doing that on weekends. They're doing something else. They're they're getting away from that. That's their version of escapism, which is healthy, which is normal. But it's when you start sacrificing things in your normal life to get your escape. Um, Prime example. I collect things. I collect action figures. I collect toys. I collect Lego. All that shit, right? The moment that I decide to say, well, I know my mortgage is coming up, and I know that I have X, Y, and Z to pay for, I think I'm going to go out and buy an action figure instead that will take up a hunk of that. That is when it is no longer an escape and it's part of your mental health journey or your behavioral health journey. Now, a lot of people call escapism part of your behavioral health, but it's a lot of things too. It's mental health in the fact that you're denying the facts that are there, that you're looking right at, and you're going, nah. That is self denial. That's the worst kind of denial. So there's that. Treatment is something that we all have thought about or going through or whatever. Okay, and it's scary as hell for the first time because you're facing your true self in a lot of those times, and you're going, these are the things that are wrong with me, that not wrong, that need adjusting, so that, not to coin a phrase here, but not so that I can be normal, but so that I can function. Because playing video games for 12 hours a day is not functioning. Building with Lego 12 hours a day is not functioning. Unless it's your job to a degree, right? Going over your action figures and doing that all day is not treatment. That's not functioning. That's you escaping from your problems. But though it starts to become your life, and you rationalize it. At least I'm not doing drugs. At least I'm not drinking. At least I'm not doing this. At least, at least, right? Okay. So, I can't remember the name of the study, but the name of the study virtually came out to, for a functioning human being, you need your day broken up into this. You need 8 solid hours of sleep. Which, sure. You need to do your work life, which is like anywhere from 6 to 8 hours, and then 3 hours of socialization, not a day, but 3 hours of socialization with your partner, friend, partner, whatever. And then you have that time to focus on a hobby, to focus on something that makes you a unique individual, that makes you, I'm going to build with Lego now, you know. It's all about diverting the time into sections and going through with it. And treatment falls into that. When you sit down and you decide to go through your catalog of whatever, of action figures you haven't posed, are you doing that in lieu of doing something else that you need to get done? If that's a yes, that's not good. If you're doing your hobby after everything that you need to get done is done, you're pooped out of mana, spoons gone out the window, whatever phrase you want to use here, then it's, you need to relax. You need that relaxed time. But if you're doing it just to do it because it's become part of your habit and your daily habit, that's not a reward at that point. That's not an escape at that point. That's just normal life. Escapism will take you someplace else, away from the troubles at home, the troubles in your head, and it sounds great. But once you start doing that every day, and once you start acknowledging that every day, it's not really an escape, especially if there's other things you need to do in lieu of that. That's why treatment is made the way it is, once a week, 4 times a month, twice a month, whatever it is that you have that you go through that works for you. Treatment will let you face those problems and address them, rather than going to go out and build a $700 spaceship or whatever, okay? I'm not saying that's a bad thing, that you do that. What I'm saying is that you need to focus on you in a positive way, rather than you and jumping out of the moving car, because that's the best way to handle things. And that's shitty to hear, and that's hard to hear. But it is the way it is. There's not much else, Suicide hotline is down there if you need it. Please call somebody. Don't hurt yourself. Be good to yourself. So you have to ask yourself where the line between escapism and, is this escapism or not, is. And that's a hard line for a lot of people to draw. Myself included. I'm not immune to this. I'm so much better than you. There's moments where I should be doing something else. My hair is a hot mess. I haven't shaved in a day. Probably 2 days. I need to do that. Is it part of my everyday life? Yeah, usually. But last 2 days I haven't. There's no reason why I haven't besides laziness. So I guess I'll be doing that after this video. And that's part of a treatment system in itself, is that you can look at yourself in a mirror and go, these things need to be addressed. Why am I sad? Why am I angry? Why do I feel the way that I do all the time? And those are hard things to face. Because once you realize that there is a problem, great. Second thing is to address the problem, narrow it down, figure out what it is. The third part of treatment is to be active about how to fix that problem, adjust that problem, move through that problem, stop living with that problem and living adjacent to the problem. Living with the problem is you shaking that problem's hand every day and going, yep, I know exactly, thanks for reminding me. Yep, okay, I know, yeah. Living adjacent with the problem is, my neighbor's an asshole. He's kind of right about things, but he's an asshole. And I'm going to try to make it so that he's less right about things. That's adjacent with your problem as opposed to with your problem. And escapism offers up a hot ticket of, fuck all that, I'm just going to dive in. As I hold my Raphael Lego Ninja Turtle. I'm just going to dive in. I'm going to go deep. Fuck my neighbor. Fuck my problem. I don't need anything fixed. Everything is fine as long as I have my X item that takes me to Yville. And that's not good. It's not a good thing. It's not a great thing. That's you ignoring the problem. That's you not acknowledging that there is a problem. That's you not knowing how to fix the problem. That's you waking up the next day and feeling the exact same way as you did before, only it's a new day. And it's shitty. It sucks to live with. So you gotta make it adjacent. So you can function. Still have it there in the background, but still be able to just address it. Yeah, your neighbor comes over and starts yelling at you about how your door is slightly off the hinge. Tell them I'm working on it. Then you work on it. It's a lot like that. You're depressed all the time. I'm working on it. Well, how are you working on it? I'm talking to someone. I've got medication. I have a healthy dose of support from friends and family. I'm finding support, whether it be from an 800 number regarding my mental health, or five. Yep, there's five. Five's right there. Five is your living adjacent with it. I can't stress that enough. It's not going to be easy for you to face bullshit in a treatment system. It's not going to be easy for you to not dive into the whatever you dive into for 12 hours a day because you think that you need it, because at that point your brain is wired to think that it's part of your normal life. It's much like addiction, only worse. So yeah, you might not be doing drugs and you might not be drinking copious amounts of alcohol to deal, but instead you're playing a level 37 ranger and you're fighting dragons for 12 hours a day. Those three things are the same thing. Only one costs more money than the other in tears. It sucks, and it sucks because you don't want to have to tell yourself this. You don't want to have to tell yourself, I've got issues and I need to face them, but on the other hand, I could go after this epic piece of loot. Because that's easier. And taking the easy path doesn't help. The easy path will lead you down the road a mile to a special reward, right? The hard path that takes you 3 states over, that takes you through hell and back, will give you a lifelong reward. But you have to trick your brain into thinking that you're getting something out of that longer road. You're getting increments. You're getting better. Imagine the road is an incline, right? And you start at the bottom. And you start going, it's getting too steep, right? But as you travel, as you face each thing, it becomes less steep. It becomes less harder to drive or walk or bike ride or run or the fuck runs anymore. Anything like that, right? It becomes easier because that slope is starting to decline because you faced this problem before or something like it and it didn't stop you then and it sure as hell isn't going to stop you now. Treatment. Whereas escapism is, I'm going to take the bypass. Maybe get there sooner. But the result won't be the same. Something to think about. The fight for your mental health and your behavioral health is something that never stops. I encourage everyone to keep trying, to keep doing better, to keep moving forward as opposed to backwards, to have a positive outlook as opposed to a negative outlook. Do something for you every day that will help you be better about who you are. That doesn't mean playing video games for 12 hours. That doesn't mean whatever. It just means that you acknowledged that there's something there and that it's something you can fix, something easy. It could be cleaning your room. It could be taking the dogs for a walk. It could be anything like that. It could be holding back on spending some money. Anything like that. And the path that you're on isn't easy. The path that I'm on isn't easy. Nobody's path is easy. But we want that reward that's at the end of the incline. So just keep that in mind as you're traveling. You might be walking alone, but you'll meet people on the same path. They'll help you along. Have a good day, everybody. It's almost September. Holy shit, right? Be excellent to each other. Trans rights are human rights. Have a good one. Maybe. Bye-bye.